Hey guys, welcome back to Kya Kharido. Today we're going to talk about the Indian government versus Google on the Android OS. So let's talk about Google. For those who don't know, in a press release on 25th January 2023, an official statement of Google came saying that India has blocked all its way and now it has no choice but to accept the allegations imposed on it and adjust its Android accordingly. Yes, there is no other way left except to make changes to it. Do you understand the meaning of this right now? Very soon, the face of Android's default app settings search tools is about to change. For example, let's see a glimpse of the changes that are going to happen in the future. So these pre-installed apps of Google, which are occupying your phone storage, which we are not able to uninstall even if we want to, now they will have to forcefully remove them from your phones. Which means that now we will be able to uninstall those apps whenever we want to, or also install them whenever we want to. Not only this, Google's default search bar, which is forcefully installed on your home screen, will also have to be removed. Because according to the Indian government, when Google's search bar is pre-installed in everyone's mobile phone, why would people use other search engines like Yahoo or Bing? Because now mobile manufacturers can make their own operating systems and Google will have to allow it without any objections. Meaning that unlike before, any mobile manufacturers will not need to put unnecessary default apps and default settings under its legitimate terms and conditions while buying Android from Google. And this is just the beginning, because Google has now also been told that it will have to change the Google Pay billing system or GPPS. Because of Google's dirty tricks, most of the users are not paying from any other payment app except for Google's own payment platform, GPay. Basically, the problem was that Google had given the facility of intent flow method or IFM only to GPay, and the rest of the payment apps are forced to use the collect flow method or CFM due to Google's terms and conditions. Well, I'll tell you why this is a big problem for others. So suppose you want to buy something online, like a train ticket. So you must have noticed that when you choose GPay in your payment options, you are redirected directly to GPay and your payment is done in the blink of an eye. But on the other hand, when you use other UPIs, a screen appears in front of you, then you will have to open the payment app separately and then you have to approve the payment by entering the PIN there. This means all in all, it takes a pretty lengthy and boring way. Because of this, the first 8 out of 10 people prefer simply using GPay and the rest 2 are remaining who use the alternate payment apps. Google charges a commission of 30% from these alternate payment apps. That is despite having high-tech skills, and app developers designing these platforms are continuously running at a loss. Now, this should not happen because the market of developers and coders is growing very fast in this internet age. But still, many developers are not getting good jobs. So after the fine, now Google is going to allow these apps to be able to use the intent flow method. Which apps do you want to pay with? Which apps to download and from where to download them from? The control of all this will be directly in the hands of the smartphone user in a neat way, because normally the apps which are not available on the Play Store can be downloaded from the search engine. But as soon as we try to download those apps, you must have noticed that Google stops us by giving some such security warnings, and we are afraid to download any alternate apps from the search engine rather than downloading it from the Google Play Store. But now Google is going to remove this restriction too. But hold on, as I said earlier, Google isn't making these suicidal changes of its own accord. There are 2 major compulsions behind this. Heavy penalties imposed by the Competition Commission of India or CCI. Now, by the way, we have already covered this penalties in detail in this video, but just to have a recap, on October 20, 2022, the CCI tried to capture the market completely. During this, a penalty of about 1,338 crores was imposed on Google, and in the same week it got another penalty of 936.44 crores. The reason, well, Google Play Store exploited policies which were helping in the capturing of the market. According to CCI, Google had made it compulsory for all app developers to use Google billing system. That is, if any developer refuses to accept his billing system, then he will not get a chance to promote himself on the Google Play Store. This is the reason why the careers of many app developers are getting ruined today, according to the Indian government. A compulsion to solve all these problems, CCI had to import an entire fine of 2,274 crores on Google. But wait a second, was Google ready to pay these penalties? Well, to be honest, according to Google, all these allegations that the CCI has imposed on them are baseless, and behind this, they have given 3 reasons. Number 1, nature of penalty. Quoting the founders of Google, we have not done anything wrong that such a huge penalty should be imposed on us. But still, if the CCI feels that we are showing our dominance in the market or any anti-competitive practice is involved in it, then under the competition law, we should be penalized. But CCI is presenting it as if we are doing something illegal or unethical work. Number 2, regarding patent law. Now, as we all know, Android is Google's patent product. So in terms of patent law, the patent owner has all the rights how to handle the product, how to grow their product, and how to upgrade them. No other party can interfere, and that is according to Google. Whatever they have done so far is correct. Number 3, absence of evidence. In this, Google is basically saying that till now the CCI has not submitted proof against them. All those things have been presented to them are by the app developers and the manufacturers. But those who use Android smartphones, who experience them, they are the biggest stakeholders of Google, and that's why keeping their point of view in mind is even more important than that. But till now, there has not been a single case in which these customers try to justify Google's experience. That is, all in all, Google feels that the false allegations are being imposed on it, and that is why they have appealed to the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, the body that approves or rejects the decisions taken by the CCI. But guess what? Recently, on 4th January 2023, NCLAT, without listening to Google, refused their appeal and ordered them to pay 10% of their entire penalty immediately. What next? Google again appealed to the Supreme Court, but a different thing came forward to the Supreme Court. CCI claimed that this non-cooperation of Google is only India specific, meaning that Google is refusing to pay the fine only in India. And earlier, when they were fined in Europe and South Korea for the same reason, then they paid the entire fine in the next 2 days without any argument. But India is a third world country. This is an underdeveloped country. That is why they are refusing to pay the fine in India. After hearing this from the CCI on 19 January 2023, the Supreme Court rejected Google's appeal and ordered it to pay the entire penalty amount. There was just a problem here. Due to Google's attitudes towards India, the government of India was feeling somewhere that it would not be able to make these changes honestly, because they know that Google leads the OS market. So the government of India thought that a plan B should also be prepared so that over dependence on Google could be reduced. This is an OS that gives the user power of choice. There are no pre-installed apps in this OS, and you can decide which app should be there in your phone so that the phone can have less garbage and more storage. Not only this, it has another feature that will give you an alternative to Google Play Store as well. Because usually when we search for an app on Play Store, there are other apps similar to it, and half of our time is spent in finding the right one. But Bar OS will only have authentic apps in the App Store of the OS. That is, no fraud apps will come in your phone even by mistake, and this means that the chances of your phone being hacked or your data being stolen will also be greatly reduced. Plus, not just this, you can download from unknown sources. Unlike Android that passes off any sideloader apps, that won't be the case here. That is, with the OS, the user will really become the owner of the mobile. But at the moment, the work on it has just started. And anyway, after the launch of the OS, it is going to be used in very few places like government and defense offices. But such a major problem, India has launched its own OS. But smartphones are being used even today in India. All of them belong to the Chinese mobile manufacturers, and according to these companies, India does not have a single strong reason why Chinese companies should make India's operating system available on their phones. That is, if India has to launch its own OS, then it will have to manufacture mobiles as well. Apart from this, a specific tweet was searched on DuckDuckGo, but the results were totally different, and Collab No didn't even work on the phone. In short, it is very difficult to survive without Google. In fact, it has also been seen that in the world, 1.22% of people use Yahoo, but 80% of those people use it to search google.com on Yahoo, and then they search those queries on Google itself. So in this case, I think we should ask ourselves if CCI's allegations on market dominance is indeed correct. So guys, this was a video on Google versus the Indian government on the Android. So if you like this video, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification button. I'll see you guys next time.